Hi, my name is Sebastian, and today we have part 2 of Angular material. So first start checking the version of Angular. Make sure that you're at least on Angular 8, Node 10. If you don't have Angular installed, you can just go to the website and check the CLI piece and you will see how to create a project. So let's go back to the command line and create a new project. All you have to do is ngg and type the name of the project. As you can see, it doesn't quite like the numeric value at the end, so we need to go ahead and create a new one. This process will take a few minutes, so I will speed up the process and get back when it's done. Okay, so it will take a few minutes depending on your speed. So let's go ahead and cd into the folder and check what we have. These are all the files that get created. If we do ng serve-o, it will serve the application. The -o is to automatically open the browser. So as you can see, if you go to the localhost 4200, this is what you get by default. So we're good. Let's stop this and let's go to the material.angular.io. Now you have to do just add angular material, and this will ask you a couple of questions. You just need to pick one default theme. Just pick anything, doesn't really matter, whatever you like the best, your favorite colors. Let's pick the purple for now. As you can see, the project got updated. Let's open Visual Studio Code and take a look what we get. First, let's check the Angular JSON. As you can see in the styles, we get the deep purple added to the styles. On our styles file, we just have a couple lines of codes, and the package JSON, make sure that everything is installed there properly. Okay, so let's check what we got in the folders. The app component, let's go ahead and remove all this default template that we got. Now let's just leave router outlet, and let's just do ng-serve to see what we get. If we refresh the page, we should get nothing but not errors, so it's so good. So let's go back to the code. Here you get all the information about schematics, and you can create your own custom schematics, but today we're going to look the ones that we get out of the box with Angular material. Okay, so let's just go ahead and start generating some of the default components. Let's start with the address, and if you can see, everything gets generated in the folder, all the files, the HTML, the CSS, the spec file, and the TypeScript file with some sample data. So let's just go ahead and generate all the other components, and then we'll see how we can play with those in our application. Let's create the nav component, and we're just gonna name it everything sample dash, so we keep a consistent naming convention. Let's just do the same with all the other ones. now we created all the components, and you can see they're all created here. And in the app modules, we get all the imports from Angular materials that we need. And we also have references for all the components that were created. Now let's just look at the routing module. And as you can see, we only have one module in this application, so that's why we have the root module. And we'll have everything we have to reference everything from the routes variable. And this route is an array that gets injected into the root. So let's just go ahead and start creating the path. Indicates how we're going to get to the components. So for the dashboard, let's just call it dashboard, and the component, which you can just type the name of the component. And as you can see, VS Code is nice enough to go ahead and add the import, so I don't have to do all the typing. If we go to the browser and do dashboard, you can see how I get my nice component, which is responsive, theme already, everything is looking good. So let's just go ahead and do the same thing for all the other components. So for the nav, let's just call it nav, and as you can see, everything gets imported automatically for me. Let's add the table. We'll do the same for all the other ones. The path, basically you can just put any name you want, but let's try to keep it meaningful and short. Can have spaces. Prefer to be lowercase and single words, something that you can easily type. So now, as you can see, we have access to all our components right from the UI. Right, everything is theme and working pretty good, looking really good. We get the drag and drop. So one more, we got the tree. It's all good. Alright, so everything is looking good. So let's play a little bit with this. Because we have a nav component, and the nav component already have these links on the left. So how about we wanna use those links? Let's put the nav first, because I kind of want to use the nav to display all the other components on this on the right panel that we have there. So if we look at the code, you can see that we have the href for the components. So all we have to do is just add the link, which it will be, the route will understand what dashboard means, and that's why we declare that in the routes variable, and then we can do the same for all the other components. So we save, and then we look at our page. We can go to the dashboard, we can go to the form, it's not working, table is working. So we go to the drag is working. So what happened with the form? We got the tree. Yeah, sorry, the tree was failing. So yeah, it was just a typo. So now I type it correctly. Then go back, and now the tree should work. The table works, and the form. Still something going on with the form. What happened with the form? Oh yeah, I call it address, not form. So let's just leave it as address. So now when I click, I get my nice form. Still, so now we're a little bit better, but so now we have access without having to type from the top. We can click on it, but still it's not looking good. I kind of want to have that appear on the right side. How can we do that? So the first thing, we have this add content here. This is, I'm just gonna copy this router outlet that we have on the root, and we will just do the same here. So we have another router outlet. So now when I click, still not quite working the way we expect. So even if we do the nav, then when we click, still not quite working correctly, although it's inside the nav. And what's happening is that I have to declare all the other components as children of the nav. So what I'll do is just I create an array of children, and I just add all these objects inside that array. So now when I save and I click, we get this nice looking page now that we can click and go straight to the components on the right side. Alright, so now everything is looking good. It was pretty fast. We didn't have to do basically any code. It is responsive. You can test on your mobile devices. Still everything is work as expected. Even if you change it to a phone, everything will still look good. And I mean, whether you want to do a quick proof of concept, or just want to show something to management or business, and you want to throw something together instead of just spending time doing wireframes, you can just spend the same amount of time and do a workable solution here that you can actually use for your full implementation, because everything is created with the proper standards. So now, okay, the application look good, but still, let's say we don't like those colors. Let's see what we have here in the styles. We have this deep purple. This coming from the pre-built themes. So if we go to the Angular material pre-built themes, we have all these 4 pre-built themes. So if I just change the name, and because it's in Angular JSON, I have to actually stop and restart the server. So when I refresh, let's start the server again. Just wait a little bit until compiles, and then as soon as compiles, you can see the nice colors. My application is now a different color, and I don't have to change anything. It's just a theme, so I don't have to go to any CSS values and change anything. All I point to a different theme file, and I'll be done with this. But for this demo, we're actually going to do a custom theming. So let's just go ahead and delete this, save it, and let's just run the application to see what we get when we remove the theming. So if we refresh the page, this is how the application looks without theming. Still fully functional, everything works, but it doesn't have any colors, any fonts, anything. Everything is just the default values, whatever the browser has. So now let's just go back to theming in Angular. So this is what we did before. We have the default theming here, and you can also just do the old school linking from the index.html. We're gonna do the new school, which is just adding a theme to your styles.css. So this will allow you to have not just custom themes, but there are also dynamic themes. So if you can see by default, and I just went ahead and copied the defaults that they had there. So it's just the matte indigo. So as you can see now, we get back my matte indigo that I had before. The difference is that now I'm not referencing that file directly. I'm just referencing the variables, and then this will allow me to change colors on the fly dynamically. So if you go to Angular theming.scss, here you can see a lot of the under the hood code that Angular uses to theme. But for here, what we're looking for is our palette of colors, because it's not a trivial work to create this palette. You need some special tooling. So we can just pick one of these that are already pre-built for us, and let's say I just want to do some deep orange for my primary color, and maybe for my accent color I want the amber, and this is the primary color, and the lightest and the darkest color. My warm color is gonna stay red. Let's just change this candy default variable for something more meaningful. Let's just call it my app and just replaced. And as you can see, they're just variables. It doesn't matter how I call it as long as I inject that variable into Angular material. Okay, I see an error. Seems like I missed something here. Let's look at the code. Yes, I missed that dollar because it's a variable. So let's just save it. And now I got my nice looking application with bright orange color. So let's just change everything to orange because we love orange. So now you can see how everything changed. I don't have to start the application. Everything just changed on the fly. Let's just look the deep orange color for both, for the primary and the accent. As soon as we save, the whole application just changes. We can look at the material IO if you want to learn more about how material design works, and they have special tooling. If you are more into the UX design, they explain here also why they do everything that they do. I'm not that good at designing, so I'm just glad that somebody else spent the time to do this for me. I can just come here and use these themes that are already pre-worked for me. So that's all I had, guys, for today. Hopefully you liked the video, like it, or make some comments. Feedback is welcome. Thank you very much.